I'm Caitlin Alexander. First at 5, authorities have confirmed the body discovered yesterday just north of Mabel is missing Winona mother Madeline Kingsbury. Shortly after the discovery, Kingsbury's former boyfriend, the father of her children, Adam Fravel, was arrested. He's being held on suspicion of second-degree murder with intent, not premeditated. He's in the Winona County Jail pending a court hearing. Our Olivia Pronzinski has been following this case. She joins us now live from Winona with the latest. Olivia, what can you tell us?
Well, Caitlin, law enforcement isn't releasing much information about the condition Madeline's body was found in yesterday. A medical examiner confirmed the remains were Madeline Kingsbury this morning. Law enforcement has not released the cause of death yet. Again, Madeline was found by a Fillmore County deputy that was investigating a digital tip that came in. Law enforcement wants to be clear that the land that Madeline was found on is not owned by anyone related to Adam Fravel. After the remains were found at about 1:30 in the afternoon yesterday, Fravel was taken into custody. All we know at this moment is that Fravel is being held on second-degree murder charges. Law enforcement will not release anything further on his charges at this time.
I am proud of our team of investigators and deputies who have kept focus and stayed committed and determined throughout this investigation. Our focus now is to continue to assist the Winona Police Department with every resource available to us to ensure that an accurate and complete investigation is prepared.
Again, we will have more on this at 6. Caitlin, I'll send it back to you in Rochester.
All right, Olivia, thank you. And as we've said, authorities found Madeline's body near Mabel yesterday. Our Darian Letty has been in Mabel today at the scene and talking with locals. Darian, where exactly was the body found? We are clearly having some technical issues this evening. Let's go outside to the weather patio to check in with Chief Meteorologist Nick Jansen. Nick, sunny out there today and pretty comfortable in the 70s.
Yeah, so temperatures today, Caitlin, have been comfortable. We've been in the upper 70s. Low humidity today with the dew point staying down in the lower 40s. So picture perfect outside for most of us. You can tell I'm squinting out here on the weather patio because of how sunny those skies are right now. We'll take a look here at some of our weather graphics for us. Air quality. Right now we're looking at good air quality for most of the region, and then we see the yellow there. So the yellow off to the west of I-35, that is moderate, but most of us are A-OK in terms of air quality, especially compared to, say, the northeastern corner of the country there. Lewis Nata live camera temperatures right now here in Rochester at 78, wind out of the north at 6 miles per hour, dew point currently at 43, so we have temperatures right now across the region in those upper 70s and some lower 80s. That will continue here tonight. As we look at future track radar, mainly clear skies. Overall, we have a stationary boundary to our west that will keep the showers and thunderstorms to the west through the evening tonight. Hour by hour forecast here, temperatures remaining in the 70s will drop down into the 50s for overnight lows here tonight. So fairly seasonal and comfortable overnight. As we look ahead through the next couple of days here, we'll have high temperatures close to 80 coming up again on Friday. Then this weekend, we're tracking the chance for some isolated showers and thunderstorms. Those impact us on Saturday. We'll have the latest details on that coming up in that first alert forecast. Caitlin, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Nick, thank you. A former Casson-Manorville teacher is charged with sexual misconduct. Kian Sean Morin is facing charges for allegedly sexually abusing 2 minors. According to the Dodge County District Court, the 24-year-old man is charged with second-degree criminal sexual conduct, fifth-degree criminal sexual conduct, and disorderly conduct. A 24-hour crisis line is available for anyone experiencing sexual exploitation. To speak with someone who can direct you to help, that number is 507-289-0636. Police have identified the body found in Cook Park yesterday. Rochester police say the body found was a Rochester man, Carl Blade, who was 61 years old. He was discovered by a Rochester Parks and Recreation staff member shortly before 9 a.m. His cause of death has not been released. Crews battle a large house fire near Elgin. It broke out late this morning at a home on County Road 11. Olmsted County deputies, Elgin ambulance, and Plainview firefighters are on the scene. One person left the scene in an ambulance. No word on their age, gender, or extent of their injuries. This is a developing story. We'll bring you any updates on air and online as we get them. FBI agents are expected to transfer Joran Vandersloot on Thursday to the U.S. Vandersloot is the prime suspect in the disappearance of Natalie Holloway, the Alabama teen who was last seen with the Dutch national and two others 18 years ago in Aruba. He was indicted in 2010 on U.S. federal charges of extortion and wire fraud in connection with a plot to sell information about the whereabouts of Holloway's remains. A team has returned to Alabama with Vandersloot today after he was turned over to U.S. authorities. He's been held at a Peru prison since 2012 when he was convicted and sentenced to 28 years in prison for the murder of 21-year-old Stephanie Flores. Holloway's remains have never been found, and in 2012, a judge in Alabama signed an order that declared her legally dead. Mike Pence has become the first former vice president to directly challenge the president who picked him as a running mate. Hours after launching his campaign, Pence participated in a CNN town hall. He cast himself as an experienced traditional conservative while hitting former President Trump on immigration, Putin, and his actions before the Capitol insurrection.
Former Vice President Mike Pence launching his campaign for president in Iowa, taking questions and shaking hands with voters at a CNN town hall on his 64th birthday.
It's one for the books.
Right out of the gate, Pence is disputing former President Donald Trump's claims he could have overturned the results of the 2020 election.
I felt that he was asking me to choose between him and the Constitution. I chose the Constitution, and I always will. President Trump was wrong then, he's wrong now.
The relationship between Trump and Pence fell apart on January 6th when rioters stormed the Capitol calling for Pence's execution. Trump says he would consider pardoning some of the rioters. Pence disagrees.
I have no interest or no intention of pardoning those that assaulted police officers or vandalized our Capitol.
Pence had this to say about roughly a dozen number of classified documents he found at his residence in Indiana in January.
I immediately informed the Department of Justice, and I'm grateful after our full cooperation that they concluded that it was an innocent mistake.
But stopped short of saying Trump should be indicted by the special counsel for his alleged mishandling of classified documents.
This kind of action by the Department of Justice, I think, would only fuel further division in the country. And let me also say, I think it would also send a terrible message to the wider world.
The former vice president also differentiated himself from Trump on foreign policy.
When Vladimir Putin rolled into Ukraine, the former president called him a genius. I know the difference between a genius and a war criminal. And I know who needs to win in the war in Ukraine, and it's the people fighting for their freedom.
Pence also signaling to conservative voters that he is their candidate.
Well, I strongly support state legislation, including as we did in Indiana, that bans all gender transition chemical or surgical procedures for kids under the age of 18.
Pence joins a growing field for the Republican nomination, including North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie launched another bid for the White House, making the cornerstone of his campaign rebuking Trump. Trump, in response, posted this video mocking Christie after the announcement.
It just renewed in my own mind what a child he is. He's a baby. Whenever you want to criticize him in any way, that's the way he responds.
Mike Pence made his presidential campaign announcement on his 64th birthday. The White House announcing several actions aimed at protecting people in the LGBTQ+ community when we come back. Also, our continued content regarding the discovery of Madeline Kingsbury's body, also the arrest of the father of her children. And a live report from Washington regarding ongoing air quality concerns along the East Coast. And Nick is continuing to track conditions closer to home with your First Alert forecast.
Earn a 30-cent Hy-Vee fuel saver.
As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, authorities found missing Winona woman Madeline Kingsbury's body near Mabel yesterday. Our Darian Letty has been in Mabel today at the scene and talking with locals. Darian, where exactly was the body found?
Caitlin, I'm here off of Highway 43, several miles north of Mabel, kind of near the Choice Cemetery. And this gravel road right here is where Maddie's body was discovered when Fillmore County deputies were searching for this investigation. Yesterday, they came across her body that was covered in brush, so it wasn't visible at first. An autopsy was performed later, and then it was confirmed that this was Madeline Kingsbury. Also yesterday, the father of her children, Adam Fravel, was arrested on probable cause in the death of Madeline Kingsbury. Now, I was in Mabel today and I was talking with folks about Adam, and many of them said that they didn't know him that well. They knew the family, but they didn't know Adam. Now, Adam is actually a graduate from Mabel Canton. He graduated back in 2012 and was involved on the football and the basketball team. Now, Mabel is a small town and it's a very tight-knit community. I spoke with some of the locals there and they say that stuff like this just doesn't happen in a small town.
I think it makes people worried, you know, there's people out there that would do something like that and just won't think they're going to get away with it, but they're not going to. They'll get caught one of it eventually, but it's a shame. It's too bad.
Also today, I went over to Adam's parents' house where he was believed to be staying since Maddie disappeared, and I knocked on the door but did not get a response. Reporting near Mabel, Darian Letty, KTTC News.
Thank you, Darian. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension said it will not comment on any of Fravel's charges, which again are second-degree murder with intent, not premeditated. That's pending a court hearing. The White House today hosting what it calls its largest Pride celebration ever, with LGBTQ families from across the nation. At the event this evening, President Biden announced several actions aimed at protecting people in the LGBTQ+ community. The Department of Education will appoint a coordinator to combat recent book bans enacted at the state and local levels. The administration also unveiled a partnership with the Departments of Justice and Health and Human Services to provide safety training and resources to help mental health providers care for transgender and gender-diverse youth, as well as initiatives to protect LGBTQ youth in foster care and combat homelessness in the LGBTQ community. The celebration, scheduled for the White House South Lawn, has been postponed due to the wildfire smoke in D.C. New modeling data suggests 3 landmark Supreme Court rulings in 2022 could lead to significant health harms or death for thousands of people in the U.S. The study, published in the journal JAMA Network Open, looked at potential effects of rulings on COVID-19 precautions, firearm regulations, and abortion. According to the study, the ruling overturning Roe v. Wade could lead to unwanted pregnancies, resulting in deaths and hundreds more cases of related health problems. The Supreme Court also blocked an obligation for companies to make employees get vaccinated against COVID-19 or wear masks and get tested. The models suggest the requirement could have prevented about 1,400 COVID-19 deaths and thousands of hospitalizations. According to the study, the High Court's ruling blocking some regulations of concealed carry permits could result in 152 more firearm-related deaths per year. First-time jobless claims last week jumped to the highest level since October of 2021. According to data released today by the Labor Department, 261,000 unemployment claims were filed last week. That's an increase of 28,000 claims from the week before. It's also way more than economists were expecting. Weekly jobless claims have been going up recently, a hint of some softening in the U.S. labor market. However, first-time claims still remain below historic averages.
Here's your first alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Jansen.
All right, comfortable out there, sunny too. You like to see it.
Yeah, I mean, today's picture perfect outside. The high temperatures today have been fairly comfortable, low humidity. Some of us had some rain early on today. Not at your house, right?
Not at my house.
Not at my house either. But we did have some showers outside earlier today, and that happened in areas right along and to the west of I-35 here is where we had some of those showers at. So Winnebago and Hancock, and then probably pretty close to Faribault, Waseca, even some portions of Steele, and then right to the south there of Mankato. So we did have some areas with some showers, but notice Olmsted and areas to the east remained dry through the morning hours today. Here's a live look at some of your Lewis and Otta live cameras. We continue with some sunshine in some spots here. Some high-level clouds will be pretty quiet here tonight as we look at the skyline view there at Rochester. Temperature here in the Med City at 78. Wind out of the north now at 6 miles per hour. Dew points are still in the low 40s, so really comfortable outside. Dry air mass is what we have. 80 today in La Crosse at 79, in Albert Lee, Austin 76, in Mason City. Here's a look at your weather headlines. What to expect. Mostly clear here tonight and quiet. Friday, we're looking at mild and sunny conditions. Kind of a repeat of today, maybe a couple degrees warmer tomorrow. Isolated shower and thunderstorm chances on the way this weekend, primarily looking at Saturday for those shower and thunderstorm chances. Future track radar, mainly clear skies here across the region. We look at the upper Midwest as a whole. We have high pressure overhead at the surface. We have a frontal boundary that is to our west. That stationary front will stay to the west and keep the active weather across the plains here. We actually need some rainfall. Just this month as a whole, just 0.4 of an inch of rain at RST here, and that has dropped our monthly precipitation down, so we have a deficit here of 0.9 of an inch of rain for this month. But as the year as a whole, we have 3.1 inches of rainfall above average, so we still have a surplus there in terms of that. Future track here tonight, temperatures continue to be in the lower 50s. We look towards tomorrow, surface winds will be out of the south. We'll warm temperatures up into the lower 80s there for highs. We look towards Saturday morning. Things will start off dry, so notice by about 7:30, 8 o'clock, we're dry, maybe some cloud cover, some peaks of sunshine. Through the afternoon, we bubble up the atmosphere, and we'll see that chance for some showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon and extending into the evening. So that precip forecast looking at late in the afternoon, extending into the evening on Saturday. A couple lingering showers in some spots before about sunrise on Sunday, and then dry conditions will settle in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Here tonight, mainly clear and quiet, 53 for the low tonight in Rochester, maybe getting down into the upper 40s in a couple spots here tonight. As we look at your 3-day outlook, 80 for the high on Friday, pleasant here. Partly sunny early in the morning on Saturday, then that chance for some showers and thunderstorms, 78 for the high, just 70 for the high on Sunday. 7-day forecast, temperatures do return back to the 80s. Now just 70 for the high on Monday, partly cloudy skies. We're partly cloudy to mostly sunny most of next week. We're back to the 80s coming up by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week.
All right, Nick, thank you. Prosecutors are zeroing in on new developments in Trump's handling of classified documents. More on that in just a moment. But first, the East Coast is under a cloud of smoke due to the Canadian wildfires. Joining us live is KTTC's Washington correspondent Molly Martinez to tell us exactly how it's looking there today. Molly, we've all seen the photos of the East Coast under a cloud of smoke. We were just out there with you in Washington earlier this week. We're hearing it could get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous you just took weather before here. It sounds lovely in Rochester right now. I would love to be in Rochester instead of D.C. It's brutal in D.C. When you walk out, it's this heavy, thick film of smoke. It clings to you. You can't really escape it, so you have to stay inside. That's where we're doing our live hits inside. Normally we're on the roof. We get this gorgeous shot of the Capitol. Our studios, you know, are about 3 blocks away from the Capitol. It's hard to even see the Capitol right now, but we're not as bad as New York. Yesterday, it was the worst air quality in the United States, in the world, and so that's pretty bad. Today, Joe Biden, in an address, said that this smoke is a clear and stark example of climate change. And today, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer pushed for the Forestry Department to send Americans to Canada to help extinguish these fires. He says this is affecting everyone. The solution should be everyone's problem as well.
And Molly, shifting gears now, prosecutors are again zeroing in on former President Donald Trump, this time over his handling of classified documents. There are some new developments today. What's the latest?
Yes, so a grand jury has notified Trump and his lawyers that they are looking into these classified documents. This stems from those 13,000 documents that they discovered at Mar-a-Lago last year. 180 of them were marked as classified. They're looking into whether or not the president knew the proper channels to take to declassify those documents. This week, they spoke to a former aide of his. They're gathering information. This does not necessarily mean that they will bring forth charges. But if they do, the big question is whether or not it will be in Florida or whether or not it will be in Washington, D.C.
All right, Molly Martinez live in our nation's capital. Molly, thanks for that report.
Thanks.
Our coverage now continues with Tom over on the other side of the studio. How's it going, Tom?
Hey, Caitlin, well, the next steps in the investigation of the Madeline Kingsbury.
We're going to go to break.
Scan the code now for the
Right now, the broader impact of today's ruling by the Supreme Court striking down Alabama's Republican-drawn congressional map that activists say discriminated against black voters, and the corporate push to get workers back into the office. We'll tell you about it on Nightly News.
The smoke polluting air along parts of the East Coast is increasing demand for air filters, humidifiers, and masks. Sales surged on Amazon today, and Google searches for air purifiers are up 16-fold since Monday. Companies that make the devices are gaining ground in the stock market. Share prices are up for Whirlpool, Carrier Global, and Johnson Controls. We'll be right back.
Today is a pretty important day for our planet. It's World Oceans Day.
It's meant to celebrate our one ocean, which covers more than 70% of our planet and connects us all. This year's theme is Planet Ocean, Tides Are Changing. It's estimated that the Earth's oceans provide at least 50% of the planet's oxygen and are the main source of protein for billions of people. But we are taking more from the seas than can be replenished. Its ecosystem is being impacted and damaged by things like overfishing and pollution. World Ocean Day was started to encourage people around the globe to take action to protect and restore our oceans. You can go online to worldoceanday.org to find ways you can help and to find events happening around the world. Meanwhile, here at home, things are pretty much picture perfect.
Yeah, not much happening around southeast Minnesota, northeast Iowa. Otherwise, that's good news for pretty much everyone. Tonight here, mainly clear skies and pretty comfortable here tonight. 53 for that overnight low. Wind out of the east about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow we'll have some sunshine, pretty pleasant day. 80 for the high. Saturday rolls around, of course, right on the weekend. We see that chance for some isolated showers and thunderstorms. So they'll stay pretty isolated, I think, through the afternoon and evening on Saturday. And then Sunday we'll have some sunshine throughout the afternoon. High temperature just 70. Next week here looking dry, back to the 80s. So kind of back to that pool type weather by about Tuesday and Wednesday of next week.
All right, thank you so much for joining us for KTTC News today at 5.
Have a good night. We'll see you right back here at 6 o'clock.